It has nothing to do with the customer.
Yeah.
It has all to do with the ownership, their mindset, which trickles down through the team, right? You've just got to be convicted that what we do is so valuable, right? There's so much value in it, regardless of the price. That's where you have to get.
And once you have that belief, it's no problem.
Matt Helen back in the Beats Lab.
Back in the Beats Lab, what's going on?
Not a lot. Glad to have you back. You've been a busy man.
Oh, yeah, getting clubs open. I think we have over 100 open. By September, we'll have around 120 to 125.
Dang, man. Well, 2%. I don't know what percent gets that many open, but at the benchmark number of 100, it put us in rare air. So good job, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's been a fun ride.
Heck yeah. Well, good job.
When we started 2019?
Yes.
Isn't it crazy? Feels like yesterday.
I know. Well, at the very end of 2019, and then COVID hit. So like, we really didn't start, if we're honest, we really didn't start until mid-2021.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, you got a dad joke to get us rolling?
I do. What do you call a Mexican who hates protein powder?
Oh, God, it's good as canceled. Shout out to the neighbors. I don't know.
No way, Jose. Come on, it had to do with the gym.
Oh, I forgot my dad joke. Hold on.
He's literally getting up to go get his dad joke. The guy that never forgets anything.
I got it.
It's not a good sign.
Hold. Oh, I can't believe it. It was dovetailing right off of yours, too. You know, this is the second week in a row that I've done that.
Had to go get the book.
Matt, what does an angry pepper do?
I don't know.
Gets jalapeno face. You like that? See? Dovetail right off of that.
It was good.
That's my favorite food. I love me some Mexican food, being from Texas. All right, what are we going to talk about?
Price increase. How to do it.
Yeah, I think it's something that we get a lot of questions about. It's always been something that it's a necessary evil at times. It's not pleasant, but it's necessary. And so we're going to talk about, again, we've been doing this for 34 years, working with gyms all over the world, and now at all these franchises, and most of them are relatively new, if not brand new to the fitness business or service-based subscription business. So that's the question. How do we raise our rates? So we'll break it down into the two phases that we've seen be most successful, like chronologically, and then we'll also talk about some of the things that will potentially derail your price increase.
Okay, cool.
Sound good?
Yeah, let's hit it.
I think you have my notes. Do you not?
I know. You did not give me your notes.
All right, great. There we go. We're flying blind here, folks. Well, it's not like this stuff didn't come out of our head in 2 seconds. So
let's, we're looking at rate increases. First off, just hit this because I get this question a lot. How often should you increase your rates?
Yeah, I mean, every couple of years would be fair.
Couple years.
You can get if you want to get your clients acclimated to that, you could do a annual rate increase. But what we've seen with that is that you're going up in small increments. And when we describe the order of things as far as how you raise your rates, we'll describe why that frequency could make it a little bit confusing for everyone. Does that make sense? And essentially the short answer is you're going to end up with a bunch of people paying a bunch of different rates. And I personally have experienced both that at high volume and having everyone on the same rate plan. And I like the same rate plan, but we'll get more into the whys just by default by explaining what we're going to explain.
Okay, we'll hit it then.
Well, first off, how do you raise your rates? The first thing that you can do that's the easiest, and this will have a lot of positive side effects, is to raise your rates on new clients only, right? So easy to do. The new clients, they don't have a pricing anchor in place. They don't have a service anchor in place. You're just raising your rates on your new members only. Now, easy to do, right? And the positives that come out of that, because we're going to save the things that might be the mental blocks until after the second phase. The positives are that it builds the self-efficacy of you and your team to raise rates on existing clients, because that's the real harder, more difficult thing that's going to really bother you, right? Mm-hmm. Get you in your head is raising rates on existing clients, but raising rates for new clients is not hard at all. So first, take your rates to where you want to be, right? Obviously, if you're in the alloy system, you can float some ideas out there for us, and we'll certainly kick those around with you. But the basic strategy is to start, raise rates on new clients. And then as you continue to get the same percentage of yeses, right? Close rates, hitting all your KPIs, if you will, through the process, it will give you and your team the efficacy to then turn to your existing clients and say, hey, here's what's happening, right? So anyway, that's the first step. Second step is existing customers. A little bit more difficult, right? So I would say that with existing customers, the best way to handle it in our brand, and we're not talking about having 700 members, we're talking about 130 to 150, you know them intimately. That's how you should explain the rate increase, right? And it should be individual conversations with each client. We have something in place called an accountability session. And for everyone that's doing those, that would be a really good time to have that discussion. I think if you set a date in the future and let them know that our rates are going up by blank, right?
Yep.
And believe me, once you tell a few people, it'll get out and they'll talk about it. And that's fine. Like, that's okay to do that, right? Just have personal conversations with someone, with every single person that you can.
So every person, individual conversation.
Yeah, and maybe you have that client that doesn't really need a lot of hand-holding or accountability sessions, and you maybe just catch them on the way out. And I would say, hey, Matt, did you hear we have a rate increase coming? I know I don't meet with you accountability-wise because you're doing great, and you won't need that, but did you hear? And they'll probably be like, yeah, what's the deal, right? Or I just think you don't want to just sweep it under the rug because you're nervous about it and leave it unsaid, even to the people who aren't going to either complain or bring it up to you. Sure. Right. And if you don't have a chance to have that accountability session conversation with them, which is a private conversation, you should probably address it in any way possible. Yeah. Again, grab them on the way out. You just need to keep a list of everybody you've talked to.
One-on-one setting. Definitely.
One-on-one setting. Yeah. So what that means is you don't send out like a blanket text or a blanket email. And the reason is you want to have that conversation. You want to take their temperature about where they are. They may have hesitations that are different than someone else's. And through those conversations, you'll learn a lot about what the common maybe objections would be. And let's just start with the fact that like nobody loves it, right? You're not going to get positive feedback. You're going to have a rare client that's going to say something like, well, it's about time. I mean, I used to pay $90 an hour for my personal trainer down the street. This is a steal.
Right.
You're not going to get that a lot, And so as an owner, you also have to understand that the people that are going to be articulating this message, particularly the director and even all the way through to the coaches, because they're going to hear about it during the sessions and whatnot, you really need to arm them, right, with the proper mindset. Again, that self-efficacy that hopefully came with, hey, we're selling this like crazy to new people anyway. It's not like the price barrier is too high.
Right.
Tell them it's not going to be pleasant. Be honest, right? Tell them there are going to be grouchy clients, right? Also, though, it's a great opportunity, Matt, to review your service offering. Are you nailing it? Are you hitting on all cylinders? Because you'll feel a heck of a lot better about a rate increase if you're not feeling insecure about not delivering the thing with the most integrity or the best that you possibly could. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's the beauty of this, what you're setting out is you're going to find out everything that's going on as if you are as good as you think you are anyway, because it's going to take it from that relational and it's going to go transactional for a minute. And that's why you want to have it in a one-on-one setting so that you can navigate that. And you're also will be prepared for what's going to happen, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, you are going to lose some people with a rate increase, right? We've never had huge numbers, but at least you know about it. That's why you run the numbers and you know what to forecast, because I'd rather have more people paying more than, less people paying, or a lot of people paying little and more people paying less.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, you'd rather have 130 paying your full rate than 140 paying a discounted rate, as an example.
Yeah, so you go through, they have those one-on-one conversations, so you're prepared. You know what's coming up versus like just launching like, hey, on this date, and then your clients aren't paying attention. They didn't see that email. It gets hit, and then bam, you got
Or they make a decision without a conversation on the back end that they're not going to continue when the rate increase kicks in, but they don't articulate that to you because that's also uncomfortable for them. So I like sincere candor. It's one of our core values that we live by. So go straight at them. Like you get ahead of it by you initiate those conversations and you say, hey, did you hear? then it gives you a chance to explain why. And I think the most compelling reason, and this is an actual reason, is they usually love the team, right? They typically like the director, they like the coaches. And if that's the case, then that's the lever to pull, right? And I think if you're an owner and you're listening to this, there needs to be legitimacy to this, meaning if you're going to raise your rates, and one of the compelling reasons is so that you can take care of your team and keep them around longer because everybody loves them, as you do, you should plan then to have some type of a pay increase on the back end of this. It doesn't have to eat up all of your margins, because then you're disrupting the business for no reason. Like, you need to make money as well. And I think your team understands that. But the upside to them helping you, I'm air quoting, raise rates, is you're going to get a better client, because the more they pay, the more attention they pay to the thing, which means they'll probably be more successful with their goals. But also, they're going to be excited to do it because it means more money in their pocket, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can help people and make money.
Yeah, so the team is one big way we've seen work very well. Also, like gym enhancements, a lot of clubs, like Alloys, we've had some older gen models, but doing upgrades. They framed it in that way. We want to give you a better experience, get better tools. Like, all those work just fine.
Yep. Yeah, and those need to be legitimate. If you claim it, you need to back it up, and I think that goes without saying, right? That's just having integrity. But so that's it. You raise your rates on your new ones first. The team sees that it's okay. You give them the conviction. They are closing, at the same rate with new clients as they were before. Awesome. Now they're confident that they can do it. Now you have the more difficult conversation, which is existing clients. Once again, have the conversations in person.
Yep.
The whys have to be compelling, and they have to be about the member. Yep. To your point, like, if you can keep your team around, that makes the member happy. It's not about you, right?
Yep.
It's about the member or the client. So it's like, all right, we're going to keep your favorite people here, and they are good, and they're good for a reason, but they don't come cheap. So we need to make sure we continue to take care of them. Yep. And then secondly, if there are, and we've got, we sprinkle in new equipment choices and things, periodically. Maybe you haven't acquired those things, but you're like, hey, I'm going to bring in some new, some new equipment, whatever that may be.
And you touched on it in a minute. Just make sure this is a big piece. Clear communication with the team. Everybody's on the same page. You talk to them about, what to say, and everybody knows what's happening, because you don't want that, like, heard you're doing a rate increase, and they,
they're like, I don't know why we are,
or don't know anything about it. Like, what?
Right. I mean, look, you always call it, as we both have in the past, the chief reminding officer if you're head of the business. But I think you just can't communicate clearly enough. You should be having your weekly meetings anyway, right? Which is part of our structure. If you're not with Alloy, do it. And then in those meetings, you need to say, hey guys, here's what we're going to do, and here's our strategy, and here's what the emotions are that you're going to go through. You're going to be scared the first few new sales you make. You're going to be thinking, it's a certain way, and they're going to say no, and then they don't, and then you're like, oh, and then pretty soon you're like, okay, we can do this. Yep. Then we're going to take the harder step. We're going to have hard conversations with all of our clients. But once this kicks in, here's what I'll do for you guys. There's some maybe new equipment that we're going to get. We're going to invest in this or that, whatever that may be, right? And so there's some incentive for the people there.
Right.
You have to continuously communicate with them. It's going to be okay. People don't like change. Some are going to be cool with it, but the majority are going to have something to say that's not positive. And here's how we're going to respond to those things.
Yeah, and support, right? I mean, like you say, like the front lines of trainers are the ones that are going to get the most. You got to be there as an owner or leadership position. You have to be in there to help.
Yeah, and I think a good question, again, similar to going at the clients before they kind of figure it out and then quietly make a decision without you being involved in the relationship. On a rate increase, you do the same thing with your team. So it's your burden as the leader and the owner in those leadership meetings to say, how's everyone doing? Yeah. Right? I know that you're having difficult conversations. Mm-hmm. Is there any that you can share? Have you learned anything, or is there anything that you're hearing repeatedly that we can address as a group today? Yep. I'm here for you guys. I get it. Like you have the harder job right now. I understand that. There's an upside for all of us on the back end, but it's not lost on me that this is a difficult conversation. So let's talk about it. How can I help? You have to preemptively go at that. Just because they're not saying, they might think, well, the owner wants to raise the rates. There's nothing I can do. And they build a lot of head trash around it. That sounds like a statement of someone who's not engaged, but that is a common thing, right? Yeah, so you've got to address that. You've got to hit it head on. You have to initiate those conversations. You have to do it early and often and consistent.
Yeah.
So we'll start with that. All right. So that's the basic strategy, right? Mm-hmm. So new clients, build efficacy, teach the whole team that you can sell it, including yourself. No big deal. Great. Second step, existing clients, personal conversations based on our brand. Try to get to everyone. Even if they don't do accountability sessions, grab them on the way out, ask them if they heard, tell them when the deadline is, tell them what the new rate's going to be, and then tell them why.
You got it.
And then they might like it or not, period. And to your point, plan on losing everyone. This is not like you're going to lose half of your clientele. You might lose 10%, but what you'll gain in revenue will make up for that, at least in the immediate, and then you'll keep stacking new clients until you're in a much better position in your company. So, and this is manipulating your rates a little bit for the owners listening. It is the clearest and easiest way to put more money on the bottom line, right? Yeah, we talk about maybe a little bit of a labor increase, right, to get your team bought in, and that's something you should do anyways, take care of them. But there's just more margin in it. So it's like you take the exact same playbook, everything's the same, you're making, 15% more profit. Why? Because you raised your rates on the same service, right?
Yep.
And believe me, I just heard today, I've talked about this before, the average car payment in the U.S. is $800. At currently, 30% of the U.S. that's buying an automobile is paying $1,000 a month for their car.
That's wild.
Now, wild. I mean, you have a car that's paid off. I have a car that's paid off. Like
Rick makes fun of my Altima.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Altima's in Atlanta. Oof, man, everybody driving an Altima is trying to run you off the road. So every time I see something, I send it to Matt. And I'm driving my 2008, car that I inherited from my dad or truck. So it's like, I just don't get it. But that's a fact,
Yeah,
and
people do, man.
And so for someone with means, if the average car payment is $800, and I'm sure they're just buying their cars in cash, this is not a big deal, right? So let's talk about then, this maybe dovetails perfectly into the things that you're going to have to look for, or the negative things that can happen, right? So first and foremost, your team might see a rate increase as something that is just too much. It's just too expensive, right? I really dislike that, I have to say, because there's a difference between price and value, right? If I buy a Rolex, it's a $15,000 watch. I don't buy Rolexes, but if I did, I would expect the quality of it to be there, and I could probably resell it later for $13,000, 10 years later. So is there value in that watch, even though the price tag is high? Yes. So again, this is an opportunity for you to look at your service offerings. Are you doing the 7 core tenets? Are you hitting people with text messages after the workouts? Are you making sure everything around all the systems that we've built, soft touch? Are you doing surprisingly personable? All the things to make your business hit on all cylinders. If not, this is a great opportunity to do so, right? And make it worth it. And you're typically going to push that increase for existing clients out a little bit.
Yep.
So it gives you time to have those discussions and really drill down on the service offering that you have, right? All that being said, you're still going to have trainers and directors who, and this is a statement we often use, are selling out of their wallet.
Yep.
What I mean by that is they're maybe in their 20s or 30s, or maybe they're in a different financial situation, regardless of their age, of the clientele, and they are going to think that it's really expensive. And in doing so, they're going to get a more of a scarcity mindset around it. And I don't care what you say, that's going to come out in their tone and their conviction, body language. I mean, any way that they're communicating it, if they truly feel like it's too expensive and they're using their wallet, which is like their lens, it's going to be difficult to get them to upsell. So first, you've got to get them out of that mindset. And I think addressing that head on as a leader would also be very important. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I've literally experienced this. I've experienced this with you. What you're talking about is just straight up fear. I don't know if it's as much as people don't believe they're worth it, as they're scared. They're scared to, like, they did this one thing, now they don't think they can sell it at a higher rate. I remember when we did this here, we went from, I think we were in the 300s to close to 5, right? And all of us, at the time, we're like, oh my God, same stuff you're really talking about. And you're like, it's fine, chill out. Like, it's, look at how much we're offering. And I remember going through it and just, listening, and sat down, did an SPS, did exactly the same thing. We coach, we do that. And no hitch, no nothing. And it's because the customer has no idea anyway, and it's just all our own head trash, to your point, that they wouldn't think this. And it's all in your own head because they have no idea, especially those new customers coming in. But it's the belief that you are worth it. And we always talk about value, right? We always talk about people, it's not price, it's value. If people truly looked at say Alloy and what we offer, we talk about per session costs and stuff like that, but the amount of stuff that you actually do for somebody is way, way, way more than what we actually charge. To be honest with you, now we could charge a lot more. I mean, you talk about it all the time. You could go open a gym, sign up 100 people for $1,000 a month.
If I was going to
Without
open,
batting an
if
eyelash.
I was going to open right now, Rick's Gym, and I was starting from scratch, I would open exactly what we do at Alloy. I would charge $1,000 a month and do exactly what we do. I would put no more services in it, and I would get it all day long, and I would sell it full of 100 something people and get on with it. Now, I know we can't scale that because there's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of personalities involved. And, there's a lot of people who couldn't sell that. I could all day long. And so it has nothing to do with the customer is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It has all to do with the ownership, their mindset, which trickles down through the team, right? You've just got to be convicted that what we do is so valuable, right? There's so much value in it regardless of the price. That's where you have to get.
And once you have that belief, it's no problem. Right. And that's all it is belief. Get over your own fear or selling out of your own wallet, like all that stuff. Like you can't have selling your own wallet to begin with in this model, to be honest with you. But the fear of going up, because in your head, you're like, oh, the people don't want to buy that. And honestly, I've had these a million conversations like you have, and it's people just create that on their own. Like, do you actually know that? Have you actually tried to sell? Like, how many times I've had that one? I'm like, do you know they don't want to buy it at a bigger price? Like, have you actually sat down and gone through everything and did it? No. Well, how do you know? And I'm telling you right now that it's all fake. It's all between the ears.
That's why you raise it on your new clients. You prove it to yourself. You fake it till you make it. You sit in that seat. You sell a bunch of new clients on the new rate, and you're like, okay, hold on. It's not any more difficult, or the conversations aren't any different than they were when we were $80 a month less, whatever that number is, right? Which again dovetail perfectly into the next, which is how much do you raise your rates? And one thing I did in the past that I thought was a mistake, and we addressed it a little bit in the how often. We're saying every couple of years is a good idea. Every year you could. The only drawback that I see with every year is you're probably not going to be able to go up wildly on your rates.
Right.
And what I've done in the past that I don't recommend is raising rates a small amount, right? Because you're going to have all of these people in your facility at all these different rates based on stages when they started.
Right.
And so let's say that you're like, oh, I don't want to run everybody off. So for my existing clients, I'm going to raise the rates, 10%. But then you've already done the new client play and they're paying, 30% more, right? All I would say is based on my experience with our brand and others and personally, that you increase the rate to the going rate for the client outside the gym, right? And if that's increasing their rate by 30%, which is a lot, I promise you a few are going to balk. The same ones that balk at 30 are balking at 10, right?
Right.
To our average customer and what they earn, and if the value's there, and that's the wild card, are you providing that value, right?
Yeah.
The product is valuable. Are you delivering it in a valuable way? That's the key, right? Going up 30%, do they love it? No. Will they do it? Absolutely. And so if you're going to go through all the pain and toil of raising rates, get to a rate that you want to be, which I would say is the going rate for whatever you're selling for new customers. Just go to that. And you can tell your existing clients, this is what we've been charging for new customers for the last 6 months, right? People are happy to pay it. I know for you it's different because you came in at this rate.
Right.
Maybe you had a 20% off for life as a founding member, but it didn't mean 20% off of that rate. It meant 20% off. So you could theoretically raise their rates and still offer them 20% off if you want to do them a solid. Like, hey, we're going up to $450 a month instead of $400 as an example. But you're still going to get your 20% off. So you're still doing much better than the new clients that come in. They're paying the full $450.
Right.
So that's a rate increase, but that lessens it a little bit if they're an OG customer, which you feel like you want to take care of them. I understand that.
Yeah. I mean, when you go have those conversations, if people are balking, they were already probably upset anyway. Like when we talk about value, there was something already there. So that's why it's a good conversation regardless. Right. And with that, obviously we're learning to get better. It'll help you improve your service, but don't haggle. Don't do, willy-nilly prices and like give secret discounts and stuff. I hate that.
There's no integrity in that.
No, it's
really.
awful.
And what you end up with, if you've been in business for a while, and we've made the mistake, which is how I know, is you've been in business 7 years, and it's like when you move into a house and everything's really organized, and a few years later you open that one junk drawer and you're like, what happened? I mean, there's so much crap in there that's unrelated. There's like a couple of spare batteries. There's some old car keys from a car you don't even own anymore. Right. There's a couple of pens, there's a can opener. You're like, what is all this, right? It's like, but that happens in your business too, and you don't want that. You want to stay organized and clean and neat. And to have integrity, you do want everyone paying essentially the same rate, even if they're guaranteed some discount as an original founding member. Still take them to the same rate, at least the retail, the tag rate, right? So those are really the only pitfalls that I see is the fear around it, and it has to start at the top and work its way down. And one way to mitigate that is to sell it to the new people. There'll even be fear about that, but that's easier to overcome. And when you turn to your new people, it's going to be not a super fun process to raise rates anyway, but if you're convicted and you got your team on board and there's an upside for them, then you just do it. And if you're going to do it, it's already disruptive. Do it to get them to the now, current rate. Don't do incremental changes for everyone and discounts and couples things and all these things that you have like baked into all these weird memberships, because you are going to end up with the messiest drawer in your business ever. There's going to be so many funky memberships in there. You try to unfurl all that and figure out your average spend per member and all the different things. It's like, it's just trust me, take it from me, raising rates, rip the Band-Aid off, get to the rates that you want, keep it clean, simple for everyone. It's going to be just the same amount of friction at 10% raise as it would at a 30% raise. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. It's not like people are like, what, you're raising me? If you had only gone up 22%, I would have stayed, but 30% is ridiculous. It's like, and those people, to your point, Matt, they're normally already on the fence about the value for what they're getting. So again, it's your opportunity to do a better job. And we're not saying everyone's going to stay. Your grouchiest customers may leave, and heaven forbid you don't have them in the business anymore. Not to be mean to members, but like there are some members that probably you would enjoy not having in there, especially if you could replace their income or their revenue.
Run your numbers, put in your best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, know what's ahead of you, and just know that it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Right.
Truly. I mean, you'll put in your head, we're all going to do, we're all human. We're like, oh God, I ever do this and everybody's going to quit. It's never like that. I mean, we've jokingly said this before. Imagine all the disruption we've done with the corporate studio. We've changed it 9,000 times.
Yeah, it went from one-on-one to small group. That was a huge 3,000 sessions a month, pulling the Band-Aid off of that.
Just
brutal.
Any different way you can think of, from name changes to structural changes to literally moved it around the corner. There's people, if you're doing a good job, I don't even think you could get them to quit.
Right. Right.
Really.
And there are others that we've had leave because they didn't like the color of our doors.
Right.
In our gym. And they were actually painted incorrectly and were going to be remedied in 2 weeks. And they still said, I can't be in here anymore. The color of those doors makes me nauseous. And I'm like, well, that they weren't supposed to be that color. They're going to paint them in 2 weeks. No, I'm out. Well, but look, man, they did not leave because your doors were accidentally painted the wrong color and it's going to be remedied in 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. They're on the fence already. So again, it's going to be a massive opportunity before you announce the rate increase, certainly to existing clients. Just make sure you're dotting all your I's and crossing all your T's. And doing
I love it for the fact, just anything, imagine getting your house ready to sell, right? What are you doing? Place is going to be top notch. Walls are painted clean. It's the same thing. If you're going to do this, it's going to force you to really all right, are we doing what we're supposed to? Are we as good as we say we are? Good customer service, great culture, and it'll make you better. Honestly, just by doing that.
That's a really good analogy because everybody does that. You finally fix all that crap around your house.
It's been like that for 10 years.
Right. That fence has been broken since 86. Now I'm going to fix it because I'm selling my house. But to your point, probably should have fixed it anyway. You're going to have a lot of probably should have already fixed it in your businesses anyway. Yeah. So I like it as an opportunity, and I keep using that word. It's a challenge, sure, but it's more of an opportunity to just really step up your game and do what you know you should be doing. And then it is worth it. It's a value, not price.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, brother. That's it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Peace.